But I think you're right, though, when you're saying, like, it's nice to have two people or, like, just more than one. Because
I love it.
We're very different when it comes to our personalities, but I think that's good because, like, the things that I stress over, he doesn't necessarily stress over, and the other way around the same. So we can always kind of try to balance in that way. It doesn't always work, but, like, we fight a lot. We argue a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that
it's your collective music that you both love as well.
Yeah,
so it's like, obviously, you're both going to be passionate about it, and you're both coming from a good place.
Yeah.
And to anyone who has to work with a partner, like, for the most part, realize that's ultimately where your partner's coming from. Like, you guys are both invested in a product, and not a product, an art piece, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, like
a business, even a business.
Yeah, it's just like a project, I guess, encompasses it all. And it's just like, you're invested, and you just want to keep each other level. And that's really it. Like, it's like I said with Shark Week, same thing. It was great to have someone like Nick, and it's like we're very much two different people, and just to be able to balance each other all the time. And it's like, and even now as I went on, and we've both went on to do separate things, and he still helps me with the podcast every now and then too. Shout out Nick Halfyard at Half Tracks, #Half Tracks, did our intro song. Yeah, it's just like I've also seen like now the things I do on my own. I'm like, this is dope. But I'm like, I also miss having Nick around.
Right.
Because he did X, Y, and Z.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not going to speak for him. But at the end of the day, I also know neither of us have went on to do anything quite as similar to what we were both doing together. You know what I mean?
And it's more fun.
Oh, it's just,
it's so much more fun. I can't imagine
the two together are greater than the sum of its parts. What's that phrase? But you know what I'm getting at? It's like, it was just... You're like, I'm a better me. Like, even just to make it totally about me, it's like, I'm a better me because you're here. You know?
Sure.
And it's like, me with you by my side, supposing you didn't do nothing, could defeat me without you by my side. In a way.
Totally.
Yep.
You know? And that's how I felt about it in a way.
Yeah, because when we play shows, like, especially at the beginning, like, I could barely look at the audience. Like, I was, like, terrified. And I would never have been able to do that alone.
Yeah.
Like, even in just terms of performance, like, I don't know if I'd be able to do a show on my own.
Yeah.
Like, I've never really done it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah, in a lot of ways, I think it is really good to have someone else.
And Jordan's good for that, bye.
Yeah. And I think we trade back and forth all the time. And like, there's some days where, like, I'm just not into it. And, like, and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We put 30 shows in, like, 40 days. Like, it's a lot of going.
That's a nice hustle, guys.
Right? It's a lot of going. And so it's like, in those 30 days, just ask yourself, anybody, have you had 30 perfect days in a row?
Even if it's what you love to do.
Even if it's what you love to do. There's been, it could just be one thing. It could be something external. It could be something happening at home or whatever the case may be. And all those things influence you. And like, Kirsten's usually really keen on picking up on it. There's some days where we're both like, but those end up being hilarious.
Yeah, we're always like, what are we going to do tonight? Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say anything. I don't feel like I'm going to be funny. Like, what am I, and he feels the same. Eventually, it does usually work out in the end.
Oh, yeah.
But we usually can do that, too. Like, if he's in a bad mood, I'll talk the most that night. Or, and we play off each other, and I don't know.
No, absolutely. I agree. Yeah. The partnerships is big. And I'll say to anyone listening, if you are in a group or, a partnership or anything like that, like, honestly, cherish your musical relationships like fucking nothing else because I've been lucky to have a few people in my life that I really, really click with the way I would assume you guys click.
Yeah.
And it is few and far between. Like, it really is. And for me, like, my buddy Pinkston's one of them. He lives in Toronto. We're both doing different things. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Like, here's a great example. My brother is in a band right now. And they're a great little 70s rock type deal. And there's a 4-piece, but I keep letting, and there's his main buddy, like there's two of them. It's like as if you guys had two other people, but you guys were still
totally
quote the Raven majority.
Right.
And I keep letting them know, I'm like, grow this and like cherish your relationship with Wyatt as much as possible. I was like, but also realize like you might not be in the game in a few years and Wyatt might be. Or vice versa. As much as that sucks to think about, and like I said, like Pinkston's one of my dudes, and I can always count on him if I needed him to record me something on drums or something like that. Like I could be like, yo, let's get it done, and we can still do it. But we don't live together anymore or anywhere close to even try to work on a project. So it's like, I guess all I'm really saying is like I experienced that with him and then Nick, and it's like. Yeah, just cherish those relationships because, one, you guys are a perfect example of it because you also create good music because of that. And that it's very natural, versus like when everyone's like, okay, guys, this is like, even just thinking of people when they get together to write songs, just as like a group of songwriters, and it's like,
Right.
cool, we all got some good ideas, but at the end of the day, it's like it just works better when everyone's friends or really they have that real relationship outside of the project.
Yeah.
And that's really what I mean by nourish those relationships. Just respect the relationship of the project versus your personal relationship, because one empowers the other very much so.
Yeah.
It's no different than if either of us three was just like super depressed all the time. It'd be way harder just to execute me as me or your role in Quote the Raven. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when, you know, just even if it's just a little bit something at home, that's fine. But like, you know what I mean? It's just like, if you're really down, it's like that will translate into the show, and then Quote the Raven isn't really what it is, what we're actually talking about here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not the real 100%.
Right.
And so, and that's the thing. Yeah, just to be able to identify that and be like, okay, cool. Like this person's really my homie. You know what I mean? Like they got my back outside. It's not just this project. They got my back outside of that. And then I don't know what that is, but that goes really far. And to anyone, though we don't got a lot of viewers, I guarantee you, anyone in the comments on YouTube who eventually sees this, who has something like that, will be like, fucking right.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
And the people who don't, to be like, I do everything by myself. But whatever. You guys will,
It's
you'll
a
understand.
lot harder.
Yeah.
It's so